Alright, let's continue our journey to statistics. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a frequency table using your calculator. So let's do it. Okay, so we have the list of data from the previous video, which is the number of marks. Okay, and we already know that the maximum is 22, the minimum is 0. If we want 8 classes, then the class width is going to be 3. And all of these are calculations that we made in the previous video. Okay, so now we're going to learn to use the calculator to help us do the job a little bit faster. So here you have your Casio calculator. Alright, we're going to go into the menu and we're going to choose the statistics. Okay, so number 2. We can either move to number 2 or we can just click on number 2. Alright, and this is the statistics function for this calculator. Okay, so it's composed of lists, and it should be empty unless you've been playing around with them. So if you have some data or whatever and you need to get rid of it, you can simply click on F6, and here where it says this means delete all. Okay, del all. So F4, delete list. You're going to click on yes, which is F1, and then that's how you can delete everything. Alright, so the way that we're going to create the frequency table is by putting in the lower boundaries first. Okay, so here where it says sub, you can actually put like a heading to the column, so we're going to put lower. Okay, so you can write by using alpha, and the letters are in red, so you're going to click alpha each time and click the letters. Alright, so now remember that we start with the minimum, and the minimum is 0. And then the next, because the class width is 3, then the next interval would start at 3, and then the next one starts at 6, and then 9, then 12, then 15, then 18, and then 21. And this is our 8th interval, and there's only 8 of them, so we can stop at 8. Okay, and then in the next list we can do the upper interval, so we can write in this space upper. Remember, clicking alpha, and the letters are in red, so you know which button to click. And we could go down the list by doing 3, 6, and putting in all the different upper limits, but we know that the upper limit is just going to be taking the lower limit and adding 3, and the calculator gives us an easy way to do it for all of the numbers. So what we're going to do is go up to where it says list 2. Okay, so make sure if you're somewhere in the list, you need to go up to where it says list 2, and it will be in black. Okay, and up here what we're going to do is write a little formula, and it's similar to how the spreadsheet works. Okay, so here we're going to click shift 1, and we're going to see that the calculator is going to write list. Okay, so what we want is to have list 1, which is the lower boundary, list 1, and we're going to add 3. So the calculator is going to take every number in list 1 and it's going to add the number 3. We click execute, and the calculator automatically fills in all of our upper boundaries, and we don't have to do it one by one. Okay, so now the next column, if you guys remember, is going to be the class mark or the midpoint. So I'm going to enable it mark. And if you remember from the previous video, to find the class mark, we have to add the lower boundary and the upper boundary and divide by 2. Okay, so again, we could do it by hand each time, and it's going to take a lot of time, or we can use our calculator to do it quickly for all of the intervals. So again, what we're going to do is go up to where it says list 3. Okay, here we're going to remember our order of operations, so we need to add the lower and the upper boundaries. So we're going to do that in parentheses. Okay, so the lower boundary is list 1, so we open the parentheses and we click shift 1, and the calculator will write list, and we're going to click on 1. Okay, so this is the lower boundary, and we're going to add list 2. So we're going to click again on shift 1, and the calculator will write list. We're going to press the number 2, and then we're going to close our parentheses. So this is the sum of the lower boundary and the upper boundary. And then remember that the last thing we have to do is divide by 2. Okay, so the calculator is going to take each number, each interval, and it's going to add the number in list 1, which is the lower boundary, plus the number in list 2, which is the upper boundary, and then it's going to take that result and divide it by 2, and that's how we're going to find the class mark for all of the intervals. So let's click on execute, and the calculator automatically fills in all of the midpoints or class marks. All right, so the final list is going to be the frequency. So I'm going to title it freak, like short for frequency. Okay, and then the calculator doesn't give us like any extra help for finding the frequency. You still have to color in all of the numbers that go in each interval the way that we did in the first video. So I'm going to cheat a little bit, and I'm going to look at the first video. So this is what we had in the first video, and I'm going to write in the numbers. Okay, so the first interval was 22, the next one was 0, 0, then 5, 11, 10, 25, and 7. Okay, and notice that all of the lists have 8 items, and that's obviously one way to know if you made a mistake. Okay, all of the lists have 8 items, and here we have our frequency list for the data in the case study. All right, now another little trick that we can use is, in case you want to save this frequency table and you don't want to erase it, the calculator actually has different files where you can save it. So this is by default file 1, and if you want to build another frequency table, for example for the exercises that you guys have to do, then you can simply go to shift menu to the setup, and you can scroll down to where it says list file. Okay, and it says file 1. Okay, so we're on file 1, and if we want to go to another file, we're going to click on F1 where it says file F1, and we can click a number. So file 2, for example. Okay, now we're on file 2. We can click on exit to go back to the list, and this is a different list. This is file 2, so it's completely empty here. Okay, and we can save some information. Okay, whatever. All right, we can save some information in this list, and if we want to go back to the first list, to the first file, we're going to go again, shift menu, scroll down to the list file, click on file F1, and then the first one was 1, so we're going to go back to 1, shift exit, and all of my information is still there. Okay, so you can save up to, so let's do it again, shift menu, go down to list file, click on file with F1, let's go back to 2. All right, I want to show you something. You can have up to 6 different files. Okay, so you can have 6 different frequency tables saved on your calculator. All right, so we're on file 2, we can exit, and this is the other file that I was doing. Okay, so we can have we don't have to erase the information each time that we want to use it. We can simply just go to another file. All right, so this is how to build a frequency table. Let's go back one final time to the first one, file 1. All right, now the important part for using the calculator is really the upper boundary and the mark, because what the calculator allows you to do, in example, if you have a paper 2 exam where you can use the calculator and you have to fill in a frequency table, you don't have to do it by hand. You can simply just type in the information on the calculator, and then you can copy it into your exam. All right, so the upper boundary and the mark can be done really easily on the calculator, and then the frequency, there's no advantage at all to using the calculator, so it's the same as if you were doing it by hand. You have to color in the numbers and place each number in the correct interval. Okay guys, that's it for this video. Keep watching. Until next time, bye.